It was designed and set up from AM General as a gasser, a 1995 gasser, but a very early model year gasser because it was produced in September of '94. So. Hey folks, welcome back to their vlog. Ryan Wilson here, Predator Inc. Today, I am sitting in front of a 1995 H1 Hummer, absolutely pristine condition, and I wanted to showcase this. This truck just came into our shop for a Duramax swap. It's a gasser, and I love converting gassers because the fuel economy is just horrible on them. Shoot, I'm seeing like 8-9 miles per gallon. That's what I got out of my gasser for a number of years when I had one. Was not a fan of it, just a gutless truck. Now there's 6.2s out there that get up and go, but they just don't have the torque a diesel does. So comparing it, it's not at the same league as a Duramax. Now, taking this old 350 gasser and you compare it to a 6.2 liter gasser with the like a 6-speed transmission behind it, runs great, much better than this application, this setup. But again, you're doing an engine swap or something like that, you gotta compare them at least as closely as you can to a similar engine. So similar year engine would be a Duramax. There's no comparison. And I get a lot of questions about that online. But I really wanted to showcase this truck because this truck sitting behind me is absolutely pristine, untouched. It is a gem. It only has 7,000 miles on it, and you can tell, I mean, looking at the paint on this guy, it's garage kept, absolutely perfect condition. It's beautiful. So I'm definitely really excited to crack into this guy, throw the Duramax engine in here, and really make it an everyday driver and something that's very usable. Because right now, with the gas engine in there, it's very underwhelming. But the unique thing about this is it's literally a time capsule from 1995. There's been 2 upgrades that have been done on it. One of them is floor mats have been thrown in. I don't know if you'd call it an upgrade, but there's also newer seat covers that have been installed. It's like a tan leather seat cover. So the original ones for this year were vinyl. It was like a black vinyl. Looked great, comfortable. I was happy with mine. They've been upgraded in this truck to a 2-tone tan full leather. So they're nice. And that's really the only upgrade this truck has seen. Otherwise, it's got stock tires on here, stock rims, stock CTIS. Although it looks like at one point looking down here, someone has replaced the air in the tires with nitrogen because it has the green caps on there, which is an indication to other techs not to put just regular air in there. You need to put nitrogen. The catch to that is it's completely pointless because it's a CTIS equipped Hummer. So you're literally inflating and deflating the tires as you go, putting an air in there instead of nitrogen. So kind of pointless to put nitrogen in there, but at some point somebody did that. One of the other notable things about the 95 is the uninsulated soft top. What it is primarily just like a vinyl top. Now you get into the later model year trucks and they actually have full insulation on there, and I want to say it's probably like 1/2 inch, almost 3/4 of an inch thick. Huge upgrade with sound as well as insulation on the inside of the cab. So that made a big difference. 95s just didn't have it. And they also are kind of flap around a little bit, prone to doing that down the highway, so you can get some fluttering with it. And you can cinch it up a little bit and try to do your best, but it's gonna flap around a little bit. Now, one of the other cool things about this truck is this one has the Wagon back on there. AM General offered that as one of their accessories, which is a Wagon back kit that's all vinyl. There's some crossbars inside that fold down, and you can actually unzip that whole top and remove it. Really cool little feature if you have something bigger that you're gonna throw back there. Maybe you got, some dogs or something, and you do have a soft top. That's a great way to go, because you can actually utilize that whole area back there. One of the few accessories that AM General did offer, I think they also offered like some chrome hubcaps here, which they look kind of like a semi-truck wheel at that point. One of the other things that they did offer were like these plastic caps that would go, they're like bolt covers. They look kind of cool, but beyond that, there really wasn't a whole lot that they offered as far as accessories. And that's kind of developed, the Predator course, and that's how we got into the business in really developing a full product line for the H1 Hummers. But otherwise, it is an absolute beautiful vehicle, a time capsule, and being a unicorn on its own for all of that, it's a very odd truck. AM General was a small company, or still is a small company, relative to like General Motors, to Tesla, some of the big name manufacturers out there. As a small company, sometimes it would do things a little bit differently. There weren't defined production years where they kind of bled into other years with different model engines. And sometimes they would have leftover engines. They're like, hey, let's just go ahead and keep on installing these until we run out. And that's kind of what happened here, but in reverse. I believe that this is the very first gasser engine that was ever produced. The reason for that is it was manufactured in September of 1994 and titled as a 1995. Now, one of the catches to that is as a 95, it has a correct VIN number for being a 1995. I think it's like an S indicator at the 10th digit. But the 4th digit in on the VIN is a D, which designates gasser. So it was designed and set up from AM General as a gasser, a 1995 gasser, but a very early model year gasser because it was produced in September of 94. So pretty cool seeing that. And again, that's why I believe this is probably one of the very first trucks out there that was a gas truck that AM General produced. Now, the gassers were never very popular, very underwhelming vehicle, and fuel economy was horrible. So on top of that, it only had one fuel tank on there. So roughly 25 gallons of fuel. Doesn't get you very far when you're getting like 9 miles per gallon. Now, some people are gonna get a little bit better, some people a little bit worse. I know for me, I was around 8 to 9 miles per gallon. If you're out on the highway, you get a little bit better, but you're only talking maybe 200, 250 mile range, which isn't very good. It's not what we're used to with an H1 Hummer. Now, getting into a newer model, they came out with 2 fuel tanks. Huge step up, huge increase in range because you have the added fuel tank on there, and I think you're bumped up to like 42 gallons if I'm not mistaken. And then on top of that, you're getting better fuel economy out of the 6.5 turbo diesel. However, the 95 gasser model year actually transitioned into 96 as well. So there were a few in 96 as well. So the gasser was typically known as a 95 model year engine option. And in reality, that's not the case. It was 94, 95, and 96, but the 94s were labeled as 95s, but produced in 94. So you can see how AM General did some kind of funky stuff through the timeline of producing these guys. Another interesting one is the 2006 model year Hummer. Was actually going to be released in 2005, and the reason for that is we had the 2004 engine, which is a 6.5 turbo diesel. Absolutely horrible engine. And the reason for that, sorry I'm getting off topic here a little bit, but I want to touch on that, is because they changed over the electronics on it. So for the 2004, they went to a Caterpillar controlled ECM or controlled engine, and different electronics, different injection pump, all kinds of issues with that, trying to find spare parts. So a lot of the 2004 model year trucks are actually getting converted to Duramax diesel, which makes sense because you do have the upgraded interior. Getting back to the 2006, another perfect example, that was supposed to be a 2005 model year truck. It didn't come out in 2005. They went through a bunch of EPA crash test stuff, and ultimately they couldn't release it until 2006, and that's why it has a 2005 model year diesel engine. The engine they put in there was an LOY engine, which is a 2005 model year Duramax engine that was released through General Motors, and General Motors had a partnership with the Isuzu and the Duramax line, but they're very specific on the model year engines in specific year trucks. And this model year LOY should not have been in a 2006 Alpha, but it was because it was produced, manufactured in 2005 and purchased from probably 2004, 2005 stock. Ultimately, they weren't released until 2006, and they called it 2006 H1 Alpha. And that was also subsequently the last model year H1 Hummer that was ever released. Now, getting back to this guy, you can see how that they've done some little quirks here and there with the model years, which is kind of interesting. And again, it's not a surprise because AM General is a small company, a lot like ourselves. You know, there's specifically things that we get into or manufacturing it, and we do a production run. And if we change like a logo a little bit, we're gonna sell out of the old stuff first before we move into the bigger stuff, because we just don't have the funds to destroy potentially tens of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise just because of a logo change or something like that. Yeah, very unique vehicle sitting behind me, and I'm really excited to actually crack into this, drop the Duramax engine in there with the 6-speed transmission. And that's gonna be an LBZ, so 2006 to roughly 2007 model year. Engine's gonna go into this guy and perform way better than the 350 gasser that's in here, but also way better than the 2006 Alpha Hummer because it didn't have the LBZ. It had a 5-speed Allison transmission with a LOY engine. 2006 LBZ engine, still Duramax, is just far superior, more performance, much stronger engine, and also coupled with the 6-speed transmission, that did make a big difference. So big upgrade just going from 5 speeds to 6 speeds because they dropped down. When they added that last 6 speed, they dropped the gear ratio down, and I think it was like 0.62. I don't know how I remember some of these numbers, or I'm just making them up, I don't know. It's just really nice getting the gassers off the road. Fuel economy is horrible. We're gonna go from like 8 to 9 miles per gallon up to roughly 16 to 20 miles per gallon. It really depends on what tires it has. Now, if it's gonna be, for example, this truck right here is the lightest Hummer out there. And being light, obviously you're gonna get better fuel economy. If we change out these tires and go to an all-terrain tire, I would not be surprised to see like 21, 22 miles per gallon on the highway. I've seen that before when you're driving very conservatively. I mean, what I'm talking about is you're not running around like a madman in San Diego or LA during the rat race season. You're actually out on the highway just cruising along at say 65 to 70. That's kind of the magic number there. Anything above 70, your fuel economy just starts to just drop off considerably. So one other things to notate is that the gasser was actually the least desirable engine out there. The reason for that was obviously fuel economy, but also the performance was horrible out of it. It did not run as well as a 6.5 turbo diesel. 6.5 turbo diesel was far superior as far as performance goes versus a gasser. And honestly, that transitional year of 95, the 6.5 NA, naturally aspirated, I would choose over the gasser any day. On paper, the horsepower is a little bit lower, but I believe torque is just a little bit higher. Better performance out of it, drivability, and much better fuel economy. I'd take that any day. And on top of that too, longevity. You put the gasser in this platform here, it's gonna get kind of increased temps because the cooling stack is kind of subpar in the original design, as well as the added weight of this truck versus a diesel. Diesels are just a lot stronger inherently. And that also shows because this truck is about 150 pounds lighter than the same 6.5 NA diesel engine. So it is lighter, it's just a lot less material in the engine, it's just not as strong. But very unique vehicle, very rare. So let's go ahead and pop the hood open and take a look at the engine. All right guys, so we're underneath the hood of this 95 H1 gasser. It's absolutely pristine. This thing is not detailed out. Got dust and so forth here, but in almost brand new condition. It's really cool. So one of the unique things that they did back in 94, 95, 96 for the gassers is they put 2 air filters here. So there's one on one side, one on the other side of the engine. Typically the air filter on the H1 Hummer goes right here. It is a massive can, about probably double the volume of this. It really fills out the area, but they put a little adapter piece down here to kind of push the can up. They also split the air from the air intake over here, and also notably see this little dent up here. Real common mistake when you have techs that don't know how to work on these H1 Hummers, and they lean on here and end up denting this thin aluminum. So that's unfortunate, very common. You see that a lot, unfortunately. But over here, the air intake actually splits, runs across the engine over to that air filter, and then it circles back into the top of the engine and the intake system there. And same with this guy, comes across here and over. And I would assume this is probably gonna add a little bit of heat to the air going across, just transferring all that air volume across there. And I've never asked anybody from AM General on why they engineered it that way. It seems to me that you could have run the original air filter here and have more than enough air volume into the engine. So there's got to be a reason for that. I just don't know what it is. If you guys know what it is, post a comment down below. I got a buddy Dan who knows everything out there. Maybe you know Dan on why you have a dual air intake if you need more air volume, but I just don't understand that. So if anybody knows why, post a comment down below. I'd love to hear why. Getting back to kind of a custom build. This is a very custom and unique vehicle, and adapting this gasser into this platform that was never designed to have a gasser in there. And one of the little problems that they ran into was the fan blade right here, the fan on the engine, was actually offset back too far. Now we see that in a lot of Duramax conversions that come in from other shops. They'll actually have the fan sitting outside of the fan shroud. That's because the layout, the engine location, transmission location, the whole drivetrain is pushed too far back. It's in the wrong location. So the fan sits out here, and you can actually put your hand in between the fan shroud right here and the actual fan blade, which is not good. It's just spinning there. It's not sucking any air in. You need to have that fan blade buried inside the fan shroud. So here you can see the original fan shroud comes out to about here. That's all the original plastic fan shroud. And to adapt this engine in here, they had to create a little adapter right here, and they bolt this guy in, and that actually extends that shroud out another inch and a half, inch and a quarter, inch and a half out to actually kind of bury that fan blade inside the shroud. So one of the unique fixes to make this engine work in this application, they also removed one of the batteries. You didn't need two batteries because it's a gasser. You don't have that compression. You don't need that power to crank over a heavy duty diesel engine. So there's only one battery over here. When we do the conversion, we'll get this swapped out into a dual battery setup here and give him the power that he needs to fire up the Duramax. A couple of little unique quirks to this. Also, one thing to note is I'm about 5'11", and you can see this truck is right about 5'11" on the height. That indicates that it's not a 96. The 96, when they came out with the 6.5 turbo diesel, they had to give it about a ½ inch lift. So the truck is a little bit taller on the 96 on up, and until you get to the 2006, that's where the Duramax came out, and they did a 2-inch body lift on there instead of the ½ inch body lift that came out on 96. But prior to that, with the 6.5 NA, 6.2 NA, as well as the gasser, it's a very low engine. That turbo's not hanging out up there, and they did not have to do that ½ inch body lift. So this truck does have the original stature, height, and so forth, and it is a very low slung truck. So you kind of look at this and go, oh, it looks like it's sitting low. It's not. That's just the way that they came back then. 92, 93, 94, and 95. And then 96 again, they bumped it up a little bit, but you can tell that difference. You put them side by side, or you're around them a lot, you definitely notice how short this truck is, which I think is cool. But with the Duramax, you're just gonna get a 2-inch body lift on it, and that is to clear the turbo on the Duramax. It's just a lot taller. It's a much bigger engine, a lot more power too. All right, folks, so definitely want to showcase this truck. It's rare that we get a truck in that's this nice, this pristine, and with only 7,000 miles, this thing's a time capsule. It's almost like brand new condition. Super clean underneath the hood, very, very well kept. And the owner's excited about actually utilizing the truck. He's thinking about selling it for a while. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna use this truck, and I want the Duramax engine in there, and I'm gonna go hunting in it. So he's gonna use this as his hunting rig, get a lot more use out of the truck. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of sad seeing a truck with such low miles. It should be driven, and that's also a really bad thing for specifically an H1 Hummer. It has a lot of seals, especially in the geared hubs down here, that dry out. So you want to lubricate it, you want to drive it. Even if it's a garage queen, I would say every week fire it up and just go a quick lap around the block. You don't have to put a lot of miles on there, but at least lubricate everything. That'll make a big difference in long-term drivability and keep those repair costs down. So thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate it as always. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you guys soon.